Hello everyone, I am Isna Ronando and here's the group 11. The given topic to us is gastroesophageal reflux and gastroesophageal reflux disease. Before I will start the discussion, I will show you a short video clip of gastroesophageal reflux.
Gastroesophageal reflux disease, or GERD, is a condition that causes the burning sensation known as heartburn. When you swallow, food passes down your throat and through your esophagus or food tube to your stomach. A muscle called the lower esophageal sphincter controls the opening between the esophagus and the stomach. This muscle remains tightly closed except when you swallow food. When the sphincter fails to close, the acid-containing contents of the stomach can travel back up into the esophagus. This backward movement is called reflux. When stomach acid enters the lower part of the esophagus, it can produce a burning sensation commonly referred to as heartburn. Several factors might explain why this reflux action occurs. The most important are the following: the position of your body after eating. An upright posture helps prevent reflux. The size of the meal. Smaller meals reduce reflux. The nature of the foods you eat and drink. Certain substances that irritate the esophagus or weaken the sphincter can cause reflux.
Definition of the disease. Gastroesophageal reflux disease, or GERD, occurs when stomach acid repeatedly flows back into the tube connecting your mouth and stomach esophagus. This backwash acid reflux can irritate the lining of your esophagus. Many people experience reflux from time to time. However, when acid reflux happens repeatedly over time, it can cause GERD. Most people are able to manage the discomfort of GERD with lifestyle changes and medications. GERD in the long term reduces the quality of life, leading to digestive disease. GERD can be prevented and controlled by identifying its risk factors. A large number of factors may contribute to the development and progression of this disease. Causes and risk factors. Causes. GERD is caused by frequent acid reflux or reflux of non-acid content from the stomach. Swallow. A circular band of muscle around bottom of your esophagus, lower esophageal sphincter, relaxes to allow food and liquid to flow into your stomach, then sphincter closes again. The sphincter does not relax as it should, or it weakens. Stomach acid can flow back into your esophagus. This constant backwash of acid irritates the lining of your esophagus, often causing it become inflamed. Risk factors. Conditions that increase your risk of GERD include obesity, bulging of the top of the stomach above and up above the diaphragm, pregnancy, connective tissue, delayed stomach emptying. Factors that can aggravate acid reflux include smoking, eating large meals or eating late at night, eating certain foods that triggered such as fatty or fried foods, drinking certain beverages such as alcohol and coffee, taking certain medications such as aspirin. Assessment, findings, or signs and symptoms. Your healthcare provider might be able to diagnose GERD based on a history of your signs and symptoms and a physical examination. To confirm a diagnosis of GERD or to check complications, your doctor might recommend it. Upper endoscopy, your doctor inserts a thin, flexible tube equipped with a light and camera. Endoscope down your throat. The endoscope helps your provider see inside your esophagus and stomach. Ambulatory acid or pH probe test. As a monitor is placed in your esophagus to identify when and for how long stomach acid is there. X-ray of the upper digestive system. X-rays are taken after you drink a chalky liquid that coats and fills the inside lining of your digestive tract. First is heartburn. Feels like a burning chest pain that starts behind the breastbone and moves upward to the neck and throat. Second, regurgitation. Sensation of food or sour liquid coming back up or acid reflux. Lastly, symptoms. These include chest pain, dental erosions, chronic cough, laryngitis, or asthma. Next is diagnostic test.
The diagnosis of GERD is typically made by a combination of clinical symptoms, response to acidic suppression, as well as objective upper endoscopy and esophageal pH monitoring. For example, the combination of moderate severe typical symptoms and endoscopic changes, erosive esophagitis or Barrett's esophagus, are highly specific 97% GERD confirmed by pH testing. This allows one to make a presumptive diagnosis and begin empiric therapy, thereby avoiding a comprehensive and costly evaluation in every patient presenting with uncomplicated symptoms.
Additional testing may be necessary. However, who do not respond to acid suppression, those who have alarm symptoms, example dysphagia, odynophagia, iron deficiency anemia, weight loss, and etc. And those who have suffered from this for an extended period of time due to concern of Barrett's esophagus. The rationale of pursuing additional includes confirmation of GERD as well as evaluation of GERD associated complications or alternate diagnosis. Medical and surgical management if applicable. Medical management. Dietary changes to avoid trigger foods that can worsen reflux symptoms. Next, eating smaller, more frequent meals. Next, avoiding lying down or bending over after eating. Elevating the head of the bed. Weight loss if overweight or obese. Next is lifestyle modifications. These play a crucial role in managing GERD. Recommendations include weight loss, if applicable, avoiding large meals, elevating the head of the bed, and avoiding trigger foods. Example, spicy, acidic, or fatty foods. Next, antacids. These provide short-term relief by neutralizing stomach acid. Proton pump inhibitors. These are the current agents of choice for GERD treatment. PPIs reduce acid production in the stomach. H2 receptor antagonist or H2RAs. These also help reduce acid section. Protokinetic agents. These promote gastrointestinal motility and can be used in specific cases. Next is endoscopic procedure. Endoscopic radiofrequency ablation Ostreta procedure. This procedure involves delivering radiofrequency energy to the lower esophageal sphincter and the junction of the esophagus and stomach to strengthen the legs and reduce reflux. Lastly, endoscopic fundoplication. This procedure uses endoscopic suturing device to create a valve at the junction of the esophagus and stomach, mimicking the effects of surgical fundoplication.
So we are now in the surgical management. So in the surgical management, we have here anti-reflux surgery. So anti-reflux surgery, surgical options include the fundoplication procedures such as Nissen fundoplication to reinforce the lower esophageal sphincter and prevent reflux. A multidisciplinary expert panel recommended surgical treatment over medical management for adults with chronic or chronic refractory GERD. So, we have here another one, the fundoplication. Laparoscopic Nissen fundoplication. This is the most common surgical procedure for GERD. It involves wrapping the upper part of the stomach fundus around the lower esophagus to strengthen the les and prevent reflux. And we are also have laparoscopic Toppet fundoplication, similar to Nissen fundoplication, but a partial wrap is performed which may reduce the risk of side effect like difficulty swallowing or dysphagia. So we are now in the nursing interventions, including pre-op and post-op management if applicable. Therapeutic intervention and nursing action for patient with gastroesophageal reflux disease or GERD may include promoting optimal nutritional balance, managing acute pain, prevent aspiration, reducing anxiety, minimizing injury risk. So, in promoting optimal nutritional balance, the nutritional status of the patient with gastroesophageal reflux disease or GERD can be affected by various factors. Avoidance of trigger foods and beverage, maintaining healthy body weight, practice portion control, and adapting dietary modifications such as avoiding late night meals and eating smaller. More frequent meals can help manage symptoms and promote optimal nutritional status in individual with GERD. So, managing acute pain. Pain in the patient with GERD may occur due to irritation of esophageal mucosa and oral cavity from stomach acid reflux. This can lead to symptoms such as coughing, aspiration, and further irritation, which exacerbates the pain and discomfort experienced by the patient. So, preventing aspiration. Patients with GERD may be at risk for aspiration due to factors such as compromised lower esophageal sphincter, impaired swallowing, and depressed gag and cough reflexes. This condition can lead to increased intragastric pressure, causing stomach contents to reflux into the lungs and airways, potentially leading to aspiration, pneumonia, or the respiratory complication. So, reducing anxiety. Patient with GERD may experience anxiety due to the discomfort and pain associated with the condition, which can be especially distressing for young children and who may not understand what is happening to them. The fear of experiencing symptoms or not being able to communicate their symptoms effectively can further exacerbate anxiety in these patients. So, minimizing injury risk. Pediatric patients with GERD may be at risk of injury due to factors such as vomiting, coughing, and esophageal damage. This condition can lead to complications such as dental erosion, dehydration, and malnutrition, and may require medical intervention to prevent further injury or manage the symptoms associated with GERD. We are here now in the family education and health maintenance. So in family education and health maintenance, we have here initiating patient education and health teaching, administer medication and provide pharmacologic support, and the other one is monitoring results of diagnostic and laboratory procedures. So in initiating patient education and health teachings, patients with GERD have a lack of knowledge about their condition due to presence of preventable complications and difficulties in verbalizing their problems. Patients may not be aware of the potential long-term consequences of untreated GERD and may struggle to communicate their symptoms and concerns effectively, leading to delays in diagnosis and treatment. So, in administer medication and provide pharmacologic support, we have here medication used in management of gastroesophageal reflux disease or GERD include antacids, proton pump inhibitors, H2 receptors blockers, and prokinetic agents. Antacids provide temporary relief by neutralizing stomach acid, while PPIs and H2 receptors block work by reducing the production of stomach acid. Prokinetic agents help improve esophageal motility and reduce reflux episodes. So, in the last one is monitoring result of diagnostic and laboratory procedures. Tests such as complete blood count or CBC, liver function tests, or tests for Helicobacter pylori infection are done to assess the overall health identity potential contributing factors. Diagnostic procedures such as upper endoscopy, esophageal pH monitoring, or imaging studies may also be performed to evaluate the esophagus and assess the extent of damage caused by acid reflux.